special guest over here, Rene over here, that actually recently started his business and he was doing roofing for someone else before, and he finally took the leap that most business owners cannot take, and just leaving their job and starting their own thing. So, Rene, can you give a quick introduction about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Rene. I've been roofing for the last 4 years. Started my own business last year in March. I haven't looked back since.
That's amazing. So, like, what made you go from working for someone else to starting your own business? Because that's a huge thing for most people. Like, they want that surety, they want that safety. So, what's the why behind you?
Honestly, um, I just wanted to do something for myself. Got tired of waiting a while to get paid, but I did learn a lot. Uh, I realized that running a business is not as hard as people make it up to be. Um, I want to be able to create jobs for other people and also be very affordable to where anybody can afford our services. I noticed that there's like a huge gap in terms of people who are not being taken care of.
100%. Like, as you mentioned, like creating jobs, that's something really good because you are not only earning money for yourself, but you are also like making a change in your team's life, and also making a change in like community. So that's a really amazing like thing that most people don't even do. So like what will you say, like what were those beginning years for your business, especially like how was that, like getting into the business really early on, and how was that?
Mm, Getting into the business wasn't really hard. I just basically took the knowledge that I had and I just applied it to my own business. Um, like I was taught how to use this software called Exactimate, and this is what helps me like write estimates for insurance companies. I like was able to compartmentalize my skills and become efficient. For example, I do my own social media marketing, videography, invoicing, bookkeeping, SEO optimization, things of that sort. Um, I've over the last couple of years, I've basically took the best skills that I've learned. I even do some of my own repairs when it comes to roofing. Yeah, like I've been pretty happy with it. Um, I've learned a lot of new people. I've also learned how to market. Like before, I used to be very shy, but now like I'm not really shy to talk to people no more. Simply because I'm like, the worst I can say is no.
Yeah, that's something that you learn as well. Like, even when I was starting out, I was honestly really shy in front of camera. I could not speak to someone like word to word, or maybe it was really horrible. And now that's something that you improve over time with, right? And like,
Mhm.
I know you're huge on like networking and building strategic relationships. So, like, what advice would you give on that? Because you gave some really good advice to me as well.
Well, honestly, um, the way I started was just more like a tree, kind of like how people like network with homeowners. I just applied the same concept and applied it with like people. Honestly, I feel very blessed that of the community and like, networks I have. I started off just by simply, you know, I just told people like, hey, like this is what I do. I also showed them instead of talking a lot of big talk about what I do, I'd rather just let them see my work ethic and show them what we're capable of. I like delivering things in a timely manner. I like to have a quick turnaround, and that's what people like. For example, one of the realtors that I work with, um, if she calls me around 2 3 p.m. and she asks me to inspect the client's house, usually I'm able to get to it within a couple hours. If not, worst case scenario, the next day. Um, People like that whenever they can count on me. And that's what, to answer your question, I feel like that's what's earned me the trust of so many different people, ranging from insurance agents to realtors. Yeah, yeah.
Yep, 100%. Like, strategic partnership itself is a really good thing, but even if you have that, and if you're not on time, or maybe you're not the responsive guy, like most people want solutions to their whatever problem are. They want it really quick, and if you are the quick guy, then of course you are going to beat the other competition that, let's say, they have a lot of clients and you don't. So that's a really good way, like starting out. So, like, honestly, what would you say is like starting out, when you were starting out, what was the way that you acquired your initial customers? Because right now you have scaled your company really good. So what would you say was that initial starting point for you?
Um, in terms of scaling, a lot of what I did was like door knocking, which is the skills I learned from the other roofing companies I was at. Door knocking can only take you so far. So, what helped me scale a little bit larger is that I used in combination door knocking as well as like getting leads from like insurance agents or realtors. And by doing that, I'm able to, you know, cover a larger area and I'm able to get to more people in a timely manner.
100%. So I also like see on your social media that you're posting like a lot of video testimonials with let's say homeowners. So like because most of homeowners, they even if they like get a really good service, they might leave you a Google review, but getting them to make a video testimonial for you, that's a different thing, because they have to spend time with you to create that video. So how do you think like most people, because nobody honestly does that in like the roofing space, like especially. So what would you say for that? Like,
Well, I would like to say that sometimes I would ask customers for video reviews if they're comfortable with it. If not, I mean, a lot of them have just left regular reviews. Um, I just like video testimonials because they're so authentic, and actually shows their emotion behind it, and people like that. Um, a lot of my clientele are Latinos, but some of them are also, uh, you know, I have like variety in clientele is what I'm trying to say. Um,
100%.
but yeah, when you see people trusting, when you see someone speaking highly of someone, I feel like that's the best compliment they can ever receive, as well as like a referral. Um, what I would say is that honestly, referrals and word of mouth is where it's at. I mean, from one person alone, to give you an example, like I got like 3 or 4 referrals. Like this one guy I met, it all started at this one house. I was doing work on this one house, and the guy that did the windows for this one house, he ended up having me work on his own home, and then he wanted me to work on. No, actually, you know what? He had me work on his friend's house first. I worked on his friend's house. Then he liked my work, and then he was like, "Hey, you should do work on my house." Then I worked on his house, and then he referred me to his sister, and then I did work on his sister's house. And that same house that I met him on is actually the house that the insurance agents reached out to me because I forgot to turn in an invoice. So a mistake actually can lead to blessings.
That's amazing. That's honestly amazing. And that, like, I also agree with that. Like, video testimonials, honestly, are way more authentic as people, like, are speaking really highly of you. They're recommending you. And that's something I also implemented myself. Like, usually I give, like, I don't know, I even give them, like, discount. Only if they like my service, they can leave a video testimonial. And I will just cut off some price, right? Maybe
Mm.
10%, 20%, or maybe 30%. And I've done that, and I've gotten like I don't know, 4 video testimonials so far. So I'm just kind of focusing on that a lot as well. That's
Mm.
honestly really good. So what do you think, like growing your company? Like I know you have been working yourself as well, like in the physical part of the things. So like, what do you think is like a difference between working in the business and on the business? Because like in the business is like, let's say you are taking care of estimates, you are doing roof repairs or whatnot, and like working on the business is like growing, hiring, and those part of it. So what would you say about that?
Well, matter of fact, I was actually doing some stuff. So, for example, working on the business to me is like working on the website. I'm constantly working on it and making renovations, making it better. And then in terms of another way of working on the business would be, for example, like working on my finances, um, working on like the spreadsheet, my profit and loss statements, spreadsheets. In the business would be me marketing. For example, like what I like to do is I like to give back to the people that help me out and help the business move forward. I like to give back by swinging by once a month and buying them food. That's what I consider like working in the business. Another thing could be working in the business would be essentially like me being an employee and like going out and looking at jobs, Working on the business to me is mostly like management and financials. It's nothing too crazy. I think it's that's like basic.
Yep. So, have you hired like a lot of people, like because you have built a new office, and I will get into that later. But like, what would you say about hiring? Because that's a really key part of your business. Because like, if you want to scale, you can do like, I don't know how many jobs you can do. Like, so what would you say about hiring?
Well, I don't have much to say for hiring because I haven't really hired anybody. It's everybody that I work with are subcontractors. But what I can say though, since I'm a contractor, is that the people that do work with me and utilize I used to help other customers out. They're pretty happy. Like I'm able to pay them whenever they want to get paid. Usually it's the same day. And then I'm able to because it's they're not employees. It's sustainable, so it helps keep my overhead low. So essentially, I'm paying them per project. That's all I can comment about hiring or whatnot.
So, what will you say is like the pros and cons of like, let's say hiring or maybe finding someone, a subcontractor to do like your project whenever you find one?
Pros and cons.
Yep.
Mm, I like the pros. Like I mentioned earlier, like the pros is I'm able to pay them on a project basis. Some of the cons that I've seen is that depending on the position you're at, they'll still prey on your like my terminology that I like to use is like there's blood in the water. Blood in the water can be seen as like desperation for wanting to get something done quickly, and people catch on to that, so they'll take advantage of you. That's one of the things that I've been in the position where I've been taken advantage of by some guys, and I no longer use them simply because if they take advantage of me on small projects, I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same on a bigger project. But pros would be like I get to network and I get to meet new people, and I'm able to connect homeowners with people that do services that I don't really offer, and people like that.
100%. So what will you say is like developing sales skills and communication skills for someone that is not really a charismatic person or maybe really conversational person, because you said like you was also like really shy before getting into the business. So like what will you say about that? Like it's hard, honestly I will say it's hard like when starting out. So what's your opinion on that?
Like social and sales skills.
Yep, sales skills as well.
One thing I was taught or I've implemented every day is that people don't really buy into the business. People buy into you. Yeah, like they want to work with someone who is like a people person, someone who actually takes care of them and actually listens to their needs and actually addresses them. They don't want like that robotic person who like doesn't really care about what they got going on and makes it short. Like nobody likes that because they feel like they're being used. What I would say is that in terms of like people's social skills is just figure out what you're good at and implement that into business or whatever your job might be. You don't necessarily have to be in roofing in order to be like social. You can be in any type of industry, for example, like your SEO. Um, that's what I would suggest is like figure it out, figure out what you're good at, and just essentially just keep working on it until you know you're like, you know what, no, this is it.
100%. So that's amazing. Like all of what you are saying is amazing. And what's the number one sales thing that you say? Like let's say you are face to face with a homeowner and they might give you some sort of objection. How do you handle that? Or maybe you provide them free value. What do you do in that type of scenario?
Well, I face a lot of objection, but a lot of the times, like the people that let's are you okay? Let me explain it for two different perspectives. Like if it's a referral that I get, usually I don't face rejection or objection simply because it's someone who reached out to me and they're the ones. For example, like I got a call today. Oh, bless you. I got a call today and they're reaching out because they have a leak in their house. Those type of people are easy to work with because they reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, like I contacted you because you do X, Y, Z. So when can you come out?" Right? Whereas someone who doesn't know me and wants to like, I want to develop. My goal is whenever I'm facing meeting someone, I would like to earn their trust in a short amount of time. So, an objection that I would face is like, "Who are you?" or "How long have you been in business?" And then I would just simply say, "Hey, like, I started my business rather recently. One of the things is by earning their trust. I would say, although we started our business recently, we do carry general liability insurance, and we actually have 5 stars on Google, just to break the ice. But yeah, like I usually like to feel out people. So if they're like very aggressive at the door or in person, I'll just take that as a hint, like they don't want to talk, and I'll just be like, hey, you know what? I'll leave you a card. I'm sorry to bother you, but feel free to reach out if you ever need any services for XYZ. But if someone is like easygoing and they look like they have time to spare, I'll be like, hey, um, I'll be happy to knock out the inspection for you. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes. I'll take a quick look, get up there. If I see any damages, I'll let you know what you need in order to qualify for a new roof through your insurance. Things of that sort. That's what I would say.
That's something I've also noticed as well. Like people that come to you, or maybe they are referred to you, they already know you, they already trust you. And people,
Hmm.
let's say you are reaching out cold, maybe you're door knocking, or maybe you're reaching out some other way, they don't know you or they don't trust you yet. So that's why it's really hard to earn their trust. So that's a really good way, like maybe being conversational with them. And if let's say they are being really aggressive, then it's okay, just leave them. There are a lot of people that you can like door knock to, right?
Hmm.
So, like, you have recently built your office. Like, what's the big move, big motive behind that move? Because most people don't accomplish that in like many years for their business.
Well, I'm not gonna act like I have a big office. I'm getting subletting out an office. Like for example, this is literally my roommate. Well, not my roommate. She's my colleague.
Yeah.
Listen, Mary, she's over there. So I got lucky.
Yep. I can see that.
I got lucky, honestly. She's actually one of the partners of the business. I got lucky. She said that if I was interested, she would say she'll rent me out a corner of the office space. Business mother. Yeah, business mother. All right, I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
Um, she would say, "Hey, like I can reach out your an office space for XYZ amount, and for the price." I was like, you know what? I think it's a good opportunity because I'll have a presence and I can actually have a physical location on Google.
Yep.
Once the income is a lot higher, then I'll be able to transition into like my own solo space. But this is like a good starting point in my opinion.
So, what do you think? Like, where did you find her? Was it also through a referral or networking?
Well, again, talking about like just meeting people, just talking to people. So actually, I met her when I was like 12. I used to come to her candy store, and I used to buy stuff. Well, we just kind of kept in touch over the last couple years. So I would say maybe like about 2 3 years ago, she became a realtor, and I was around the same time that I got into roofing. Well, I decided, hey, you know what, we should partner up. And she was actually one of the first ones that I actually partnered up on my website. And yeah, so that's goes back to just meeting people and being willing to networking. Yeah.
100%. That shows a lot. Like, if you are meeting a lot of people and you're going to, like, let's say conferences, networking with a lot of people, then it's going to take you a long way. Like, you don't know, like, because people are out there for like quick money, they won't see the benefit in that. But if you are like willing to take that long term play, then you can meet with a lot of people, network with a lot of people, and you might get opportunities down the road. Maybe you might get an opportunity 1 month after, 2 months after, or who knows about that. Just like you mentioned that you met her when you was 12, so that's amazing. And that's something people should like take advice to. That's amazing.
Hmm.
All right. All right, so like kind of like the final few questions, like what's the goal behind, what's the motivation behind your business? Like what made you like go into your own business, especially?
Well, I want to create a business. I wanted to create like a legacy. Whereas like in the future, I can leave something behind to my kids, and that's what pushes me. I've seen so many homeowners get screwed over by their contractors simply because they don't want to go that extra mile for them. So they're cheap just to save some to make some extra money. But I realized that, and I'm like, you know what? These homeowners need a contractor who's like willing to put in that extra work, who is willing to make less money just so they can get a better system. That's what motivates me. Is like, what I'm doing is I'm in the right industry. I'm doing the right thing because I'm constantly helping out people.
So that's something I also agree with you and I relate to as well, because I've talked to like a lot of business owners, not only, and I'm just starting this podcast, so I will be talking to a lot of as well. But even before that, I've talked to a lot of business owners, and once I remember I got on a call with one guy, amazing guy, and he was doing really good in his business, landscaping business, really massive company. But he
Hmm.
went with a local company for like getting his website up and all of that, and now he got screwed over by them. It was like a 10,000 plus website, and honestly, it was worse than a GoDaddy template. So like, I don't know what people are doing. Like, there are like literally marketing agencies out there that are charging that for a template that people can just drag and drop, copy paste. So what value are you providing there? And he mentioned specifically like they also had a really flashy office and they had some nice setup going on. It was a local company, so that's why he went with them, and he never got the results he wanted. So that's really unfortunate, and that's what I'm also trying to educate people on. And what you said as well, like even in like roofing as well, like there are a lot of homeowners that simply don't trust like roofing people, or maybe someone who don't know them, they're going to be aggressive with them because they have been like scammed before, they have been ripped off before,
Hmm.
and they don't want to trust you anymore. Even if you know that you are the right person, you can provide them the solution, they won't trust you because they have been scammed before. So like kind of the final things, what do you think, do you should you invest in mentorship or not?
I mean, I don't invest in mentorship simply because I don't really care for it. But I mean, it just depends on the type of industry you're in. If you truly have someone who is well established in whatever industry and you feel like they can mentor you and you've actually seen their work, then I think it's worth it. But a lot of times, a lot of these guys are just gurus who try to sell courses, and it's not really worth it, in my opinion.
That
But there is good people out there. I'll say that.
that's honestly kind of the same answer I got with some other guy. He also said the same thing. You don't have to, even if you are investing in mentorship, don't just fall into the trap of like these gurus or social media guys. Go
Hmm.
with someone, invest in someone that has already done what you want to do, learn from their mistakes. You are like not paying for them to teach you, you are paying for them to learn from their mistakes. So that's kind of really the whole thing.
Hmm.
And what is the final thing that you will leave the audience with? Any final advice?
Honestly, if you've been told that you're not capable of doing anything, or if you've been told that you won't be successful, just ignore them. I mean, just ignore the noise. Don't carry it with you, and just do what you want. Just do what you want. Do what makes you happy, and don't let nobody hold you back.